Welcome everybody to Red's Ramblings. Special episode today. I have the cast and crew, minus one person, of the upcoming film Nick and Liv Together. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm going to start since we got multiple people here. John, go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do for the film.
Hey everyone, I'm John, and I play Nick in Nick and Liv Together. He's pretty important in it. I'd like to think so anyway.
I mean, you're a title character, so I would assume so as well.
Yeah.
Then the second title character, played by Naomi. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Naomi, and I play Liv in Nick and Liv Together.
All right. Then we have Conor. Conor plays a character as well and does some sound work, correct?
Yes. I play the French waiter, Monsieur Granway. I have my little cameo there, so we look forward to that. I'm also the executive producer of the film, and I also helped write some of the film, additional material. And stuff, so.
And then last but not least, the director / writer as well, Matthew.
Yeah, so I'm Matt. I'm the director, co-writer, and executive producer of the film.
All right, so Matt, I guess we'll start with you or Conor. I mean, whichever one. Who came up with the idea of the movie? Who started it?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it was my idea. I feel as though in the past, a lot of the films have been John's pitch. So when it was Noel, John said, how about a film where Conor plays a boy who still believes in Santa? And then we made that. With Illegal Being, John said, let's make a film where Conor plays an alien as a joke. And then we just made that. But with this, it didn't really follow that formula in the sense that like we'd all kind of come up with it together. It was just kind of me reflecting on this kind of issue and just being like, well, what do I want to make now when we're turning away from things that is just silly, like childish stuff? What do we want to like, what direction do we want to go in really? So I thought I'd go for something a bit serious, a bit personal, but hopefully is still quite fun as well.
So you were tired of John's silly little ideas and wanted to make an adult movie. Is that what you're saying?
Cheers, Matt.
I wouldn't phrase it that way. But I feel like a lot of the early stuff was John and Conor wrestling on Conor's nan's sofa, and I've never seen a film like that win an Oscar.
Well, there's still time.
There's always a first time for everything.
Yeah. Shopping bag for the best picture. Then.
All right, so Matt, when you started, what was your original idea? Because I'm assuming it's probably gone through a few rewrites before you got to what it became, right?
Yeah, so it's weird how this one has changed so much, because I feel like this is it's probably the most, I'm not sure if Conor and John and Naomi agree with me, but like, it might be the most basic pitch we've done of a film, because everything else seems to be quite complex, quite out there. But this is a very basic pitch, just an ex-couple meeting up for the last time. However, it went through quite a few different versions. The earliest pitch was a film that spans 10 or 15 years, and we watch these people grow up together, which I think is just so heartbreaking. And I feel like I wait till I'm a little older to make that sort of expansive film where like you watch them grow up. But for now, I just wanted to focus on this, and I whittled it down, and it got to more of a sort of like small scale film, yet so big scale as well. It's about moving away, it's about your future, it's about your dreams, but it's literally just two people chatting in Liverpool for a day, just going to different places, just talking about the past, talking about the future. Yeah, so it changed a little bit, but the main idea has stayed intact.
And what did Conor bring to it? Like, what kind of differences? Because he's, co-writer as well. Did he bring something that, like, oh yeah, that we got to add that,
My contribution, my main contribution, part of like other little bits. It was Matthew's script mainly, but I just added a few little lines in it, and John added a few little lines as well. But my main contribution was obviously my scene, and I wrote a lot of my own dialogue. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, of course. You got to put yourself in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it started off quite silly, and not quite silly. I thought it was quite bland originally, and then I managed to find a co-writer, Abby, her name is, and she was just incredibly good at adding, I guess, so much vibrance and energy to the film that there just wasn't in my original. Because I knew what I wanted to say, but Abby, especially being one of my best friends herself, she just knew the way to just turn it into something that's just more interesting. And I think definitely some of the saddest moments are written by her, because I knew what I wanted. I just needed someone to help me turn it into this.
Yeah, I think I would think everybody here would agree, because it seems like all of you guys dabble in movies or anything. Naomi, I know I've seen your little monologues on Twitter every now and then. So everyone seems to be in some sort of media form where writing's heavily involved or something off the cuff even. And there are definitely times like that where you have an idea, but you don't know how to freaking put that to words, you know? And even when you do, you're like, that's it, but that's not it. Like it's in here and it makes so much sense. But when you try and either verbally explain it or put it into words, you're like, no, that's so close, but I'm still missing something. And yeah, that's such an aggravating thing to deal with. But I want to get to Naomi now. How did you hear about this? Like, did they put out a casting call, or are y'all friends from way back as well? How did you come about?
So we sort of met through mutual friends, and the funny thing is, I was supposed to work with them or with you guys actually in 2018, was it, on a legal being? But for whatever reason, that didn't come through. So Matt actually approached me. I think it was in March, wasn't it?
Yeah.
About playing Liv. So that's kind of how that came around. But it was through mutual friends.
Yeah. And what did you think about it when they sent you the script for Liv?
I loved it because I think I'm very much a sucker for like a rom-com and stuff like that. So it was really nice, and I could see sort of the direction that Matt was going with it, and yeah, that's what attached me to the role really.
And so, Matt, did you have Naomi in mind the whole time you were writing this?
I'd love to say yes, but I think
she's my goal,
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to Conor.
Well, I think I knew that I feel almost as though I didn't know who I wanted to play her until it was all finished. I feel as though I needed the script to be done and consider different people until we realized what we wanted to do with it, who we wanted to cast as Liv, because John was already cast as Nick, like, whilst it was being written, and we considered going with someone that John was already really close with, even if they weren't an actor, and go like, but they can't act, but they're friends with John, so they'll have chemistry, but that doesn't always work, and I'm glad we didn't risk that, and instead we went for someone who had never met John in person until the day of filming, yet is incredibly talented, and we knew could smash it out the park, and in fact did. So while she wasn't in mind as I was writing it, she definitely brought something out in the character that I didn't even see coming.
Okay, and then back to Naomi, what did you think then when you first met John in person? Because I just recently found out he's tall as shit.
I think that's one of the funniest things that you'll probably see in the film when it comes out is the height difference is hilarious, because I thought something. So, well, me and John kind of started messaging each other quite early in the process. So we were supposed to film a lot earlier than we did because of obviously lockdown and COVID and stuff like that. So we sort of got to know each other through text message, but when we actually met each other in person, it was weird because I kind of felt like I already knew like John and Matt and Conor, even though we hadn't actually met face to face. So I think through that we got to kind of build up some sort of connection. So I definitely think it helped the characters and just being able to speak to you guys.
Right. And so when was this originally supposed to get filmed? Because obviously, the world kind of went to shit at some point this year. When was it supposed to take place?
I think we were going to
film it in...
Yeah, it was straight after Blackbird.
April?
I remember we were in the Asda, Matt, or something, or the Sainsbury's, and we were discussing it and saying we're going to get going and start the process of it in a few weeks. Yeah, and then COVID just happened a week later, and we locked down. So
Yeah.
So did you have to change some
yeah,
scenes
it's supposed to be
because
about
now it
April.
was cold?
Yeah, because we had to. I feel as though none of the actual content was sacrificed as a result of like social distancing or anything, but like there were scenes with extras that we were gonna have. So we were gonna like
Yeah.
the coffee shop. It is just them two, and thankfully we had another few extras in the background. But it would have been nicer to have a bit of a cozier atmosphere. And yeah, I think a few films if we'd have had like. We could have expanded the cast a little bit and just had more people around them, maybe like they talked to a few more people and not just a cheeky French waiter. Like that might have made it nicer, but I guess it does add to it them being themselves.
Yeah,
Right,
especially in the
yeah.
station. Like, yeah, that would have had a lot more extras. That scene, I wouldn't spoil it, but that there's a scene in the train
Yeah.
station, and that would
The
it would have had a lot
station.
more extras. But I think the fact that it's just them adds to it because it's not just like it's just Nick and Liv together and everyone else.
Right. So this is this will when it comes out. This is going to be film number what for you guys?
I want to say 7.
Okay.
Please, so, sure.
And
Sounds about right.
It depends what you count because there's things that I've done as college projects which
Yeah.
have had which have basically been by all of us, but I can't really say it's by all of us because that it has to be just my work. So yeah, it depends what you count, but I'd say roughly
Yeah,
6 or
7 for 8, depending on what you count.
is there anything you guys had to learn for this one that you hadn't experienced yet on the previous ones?
I think we had to learn how to portray real people because for
Mhm.
most of the films that we've done in the past, the characters have been very caricatured. They've been very over the top. They've been very surreal, but that's what we were going for. But for this, we knew that they had to be believable people, real people that you could just meet and like talk to and understand. People who weren't like one-sided. They weren't
Mhm.
like good, bad. They're just human. So I think that was a big thing that we hadn't really pushed ourselves to do before.
Yeah. Yeah. Being silly is one thing, but being serious, it's a little bit more difficult. Even I agree because yeah. And so Naomi, have you done any like film work previous or like theater or anything like that?
Yeah, so I started in theatre when I was pretty young, and I've recently, sort of from, I'd say maybe in the last 4 years, I've done quite a lot of different TV shows and films.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you're actually more far along than it seems like Matt and John are, and Connor and all
far
them.
more.
Couldn't say
Far more.
that.
I didn't think
Yes,
we can agree
to be
to
honest.
No, I
Well,
couldn't.
staging us already.
Oh, you had to step down for these guys, didn't you?
it.
I know. I've done
She's
some-
just being nice.
No, I mean, like, I've done a lot of sort of walk-on roles, so
Mhm.
this is my first main role, let's say that. So thank you
Okay.
guys.
All right. And how many days? Because I followed you guys, here and there. When you guys were filming, you would always post like updates on various platforms or whatnot. How many days total did this thing take?
In terms of the filming schedule,
Yes.
I think it was literally 2 weeks. Although we
Mhm.
weren't filming on every day of the week, I think it was like 6 days of filming spread over 2 weeks. Because basically, over the summer, the COVID cases dropped a bit, and
Right.
it was weird with the restrictions because they'd like give us a bit more freedom and then put the restrictions back in place,
Mhm.
and then like say, oh no, go out, it's fine, and say, oh no, go back in. Like it was weird. So as soon as they announced that like all these new all these restrictions have been eased, we were like, right, let's get out, let's film it as quick as possible. Like let's
Right.
just cram it into like 2 weeks so that they don't like cancel filming. And thankfully we were lucky because on the last day of filming, they announced that like there was this new rule of 6 that you were only allowed to meet up in groups of 6 socially in the UK, which is still in place now. But it was literally
Yeah.
on the last day of filming they announced that to come in place the following week, so we filmed it just in time.
So do you feel like possibly having to rush? You might have. Well, I would say, yeah, like it kind of felt rushed at times. Like you filmed a scene and you got it good, right? Like you're happy with it, but you kind of knew if you just had like a few more days or something, that could have been a lot better?
Yeah, I agree. No, I definitely agree with you. I definitely think if we'd have had like a couple of days at a location, that would have just
Yeah.
added to it so much. And it just would have give us a bit of breathing time. Like it's like now we'll focus on say the restaurant scene, but instead it was like we'd do like 3 days back to back filming pretty much all day. Although that did add to it as well. It didn't feel rushed most of the time because it did feel like we were living the life of this film. Like it did feel like every day we were filming, and it felt like we were all part of the same thing, like a little family. Like we'd see each other all like so regularly across these 2 weeks. It was nice. But yeah, to have more time would have been great.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so since Naomi, you said you had never met these guys beforehand, right? But you kind of knew of each other. Did y'all like where was this originally, or where was this filmed? And did y'all like have to like take a small vacation? You know, I don't know if you guys. I know John and Matt are in college and whatnot. Conor, I don't know about you, Naomi. You know, like take a break from college or work to like have like a small mini vacation, essentially 2-week vacation to all meet up somewhere for the film.
It was filmed over the summer.
Yeah, it was filmed over the summer. So I was on a half time from university, college. Well, yeah.
I was as well. From college. Yeah.
We all lived within distance of the filming locations in Liverpool as well, so we could all commute like within, I think like fairly close.
40 minutes of that.
Close for British people and especially for American people. Like 40 minutes for you is nothing. I know that like a 3-hour drive for Americans is a short drive, whereas for us that's almost to the side of the country.
So all you guys from Liverpool?
Yeah. Well,
like across the water, if you could say that.
Yeah.
What's across the water?
It's like Cheshire. It's
okay.
You've got the Mersey, and then I'm over the Mersey.
No idea what that is, but okay.
Yeah.
Well,
river in Liverpool.
Give a ball, Jamie.
So, what do you have an idea, anybody, of what the next movie is going to be? And is Naomi going to be a part of it, or is she too big for you guys now?
We'll have to decide. We'll have to come to a gentleman's agreement. And I'm joking. We'd love to have her back.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having her back. But Conor, do you want to talk about what might be next to come?
Well, there's
because we haven't got a set film that's coming out next. We just have quite a few ideas floating about, and there's a couple that we're not sure what's going to come out first. Conor, you explain that.
This won't be it might not even be the next one. It'll be within the next few films that we do. I'm currently developing like a 6-episode sitcom called Keeping Up with the Christ, and that's essentially are you familiar with like the Osbournes or Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like a reality type show, but it'll be shot like that, and it's like that's basically a documentary about the Christ. So you've got God and Mary and Joseph and Jesus. That's about their reactions basically, and we're hoping I'm developing that and hoping to direct most of the episodes. So you will hear more about that, but that's currently in the writing stage. We hope to shoot that next summer potentially. I think there's another project that's getting developed, Bingo, which I'll let Matt speak about that because he's more aware of that. And obviously I think probably the next film is likely to be Shopping Bag 3, which you might be aware of some of our previous films, the Shopping Bag films. Like the first Shopping Bag was our first film, and then so the Shopping Bag films have sort of gone along with us. So we do one of them every few years just to revisit those characters, and because it's fun to do.
Right.
So,
So it seems like is there a title? Oh, you said Living with Christ, right?
Yeah, Keeping Up with the Christs.
Keeping Up with the Christ. So then I'm just gonna imagine this because it sounds like a mockumentary, and this definitely is something I would watch 100%. So if I had to guess, Matt's gonna play Jesus because he's got the hair. He just needs to grow it out a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Matt's gonna
Yeah,
be
you
Jesus. You know,
Well,
Naomi seems like a pretty good Mary, I would say. And then John, I mean, he's 6'7", you know, like he needs to play God. John should play
Well,
God.
I don't know. I had some different casting in mind. That's quite good. But no, we've got John. John's confirmed to be playing Joseph because there's going to be a
Okay.
dynamic where he comes back into Mary's life, and then there's a bit of tension between him and God. We've got my mate Scott is currently cast as God. My mate Anthony, who is in this film as an extra, he's playing Jesus because there was always a joke between me and him that he'd play Jesus and something. So that's basically what started this, to be honest. But yeah, and Matt is playing Judas. I'm hopefully with other little, yeah.
I don't
other
know what
little
that says about
cameos
me as a
and other
person. That you've chosen me as Judas.
Nothing personal. Yeah, hopefully we'll have some other little cameos and we can get a role for Naomi there. Fingers crossed.
That is the most Conor sounding film ever.
He's riding up the success of his Christmas album. Now he's got a Christmas album out. He's officially an A-list celebrity.
Oh, yeah. So see, him and Naomi about to like go their separate ways and leave you and John in the dust. Well, I mean, John's part of the Christmas album, so Matt, you're all alone now, dude.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Yeah.
Poor Matt, all alone.
Well, he is on the album. He has a little verse in We Three Kings.
I sing on We Three Kings, but it is really just acting.
Naomi, did you end up buying that album?
I have I've streamed it. I've not bought it, but I've streamed it.
Well, we wouldn't be that
Shame.
mean to make it buy.
Shame.
Oh.
And yet he
Shame.
still wants to be associated with
charity.
us after hearing that. I'm surprised.
So I should, yeah, like turn off her camera. Like, not that.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know John and Matt. I've watched Blackbird. I've watched one of your other earlier films. I don't remember which one it was, but you guys have been making movies since you were little, right? Like home camera stuff, right? And I remember on something. Oh God. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
So I remember on something on your YouTube, on Some Guys with a Camera's YouTube, that you had a fascination, as I think every kid should, of like sci-fi and everything, right? And so I would imagine that definitely, being small filmmakers, sci-fi is kind of difficult because that, there's money involved with special effects and props and all that kind of stuff. But is there something that you guys have always been wanting to do in that genre that you're just waiting for, like basically money to be able to do that?
I think we all, well, me, Matt, and Connor all are really fascinated in sci-fi, but I think we all like different strands of sci-fi. So Connor's into like the Star Trek, Little Green Man. I'm into like the philosophical sci-fi. I wrote my dissertation about it, but it'd be cool to like do something that has meaning. We tried to do that with Illegal Being, but it was obviously didn't have a budget, so it was never going to turn out like how we would like.
Envisioned it.
Yeah. So we'd always like to try. I like the idea of dystopia and looking into the not too distant future, looking into like the near future, like in the next 10, 20 years, especially now, because it feels like we are living in. I know you're a big sci-fi fan, Jamie, but it just feels like we are living in a sci-fi film, a Michael Bay film, or some sort of Spielberg thing at the moment. Would you agree?
I mean, yeah, hell, if you think of what's, I don't know if you've seen it for over you guys, we had that metal pillar in the desert of Utah, earlier this week, and now it's gone and it's popped up in Romania. Yeah, if y'all didn't know that, I saw that today. Yeah, it's popped up in Romania.
2020 couldn't get any worse,
right?
I think you'd notice. Someone would notice if you were bringing that on the plane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that
You would think, yeah, right?
I think if we did have a budget, we'd like a film where it's just like the news from the past few weeks, And then the camera follows Rudy Giuliani, and he goes home, and he takes off his mask, and he's an alien underneath, and Trump's an alien, and Steve Bannon's an alien.
Yeah.
They're all aliens.
Yeah, and then
Fucking
Tony
lizard
Blair
people.
popped up and all that.
So all four of you guys are in college, correct?
I graduated, but
That's right. So
everyone
you
else
three are
is.
still in.
I am.
And is everyone following some sort of like movie major? I don't know what it's called. Is it called? Are they called majors over there?
We've got
Yeah,
courses.
degrees.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty much degrees,
Yeah.
courses, yeah.
Degrees, yeah, A levels.
So
Yeah, I'm doing philosophy, but
Okay.
films like my big hobby. And I'd like to put philosophy into my film, so technically it does help.
right.
Yeah, you try it.
And Connor, what are you mainly doing?
I study film, media, and politics A levels. Yeah.
Naomi?
I study straight acting.
And so we've spoken about, what the guys have going on here in the future. Do you have any future projects lined up coming out, Naomi?
I'm in a few TV things that I can't speak about, unfortunately.
Aw.
I know, I'm sorry.
Right.
And I'm in a performance as part of my college that's coming up soon.
So can you not speak of it because of an NDA or because you don't want to make them jealous?
No, I have to sign legal stuff and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, Connor, I want to ask you a question because you're the sound guy, correct?
Sound. I've done a bit of sound on it.
Well, I was asking because, how does did basically no one say, hey, I'll do that, so you took it up? Or is that something you've been interested in from the beginning?
No, well, the sound person on our sets is more just whoever's free, whoever isn't doing a job. So
Right.
Yeah.
that was me. But not to say there isn't a craft to it. I think there was one point in this film where I had to hide out a shot behind a coat rail to get some audio. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it's there's a lot of hiding behind boxes and shelves and things, so you're not in
Yeah.
shot, but you get the good audio.
Yeah, because I know I was talking with Matt about if he's going to do a blooper reel. And he said, thankfully, he said he was, because fucking blooper reels are the best. I don't care. I love watching those things, man. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man. Blooper reels are awesome. So hopefully there's a blooper reel of you just trying to hide in some shit,
Oh, I think there's some stuff. Yeah.
So before we get into the trailer, because I have it pulled up and I'll share the screen and we'll play it. I'm assuming all you guys have already watched it, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So give us, Matthew, a quick rundown again of Nick and Liv Together.
So Nick and Liv Together is a romantic drama film. It is about an ex-couple, Nick and Liv, and they meet up for the last time. So the title is kind of a little joke. Well, not a joke. It's an ironic title. So it's Nick and Liv Together, but they're not together. They used to be together, and they used to have this real emotional bond. And they meet up for this last time before Liv goes to London to pursue an acting job. And it creates a lot of tension because it's implied that this was a big part of their breakup, the fact that Liv was going to have to move to London, and that's why they broke up.
Yeah.
And Nick spends a lot of the film very guilty. Not guilty, no, not guilty. Just very down, just very pessimistic and upset about the future because he's literally watching her just go. Whereas Liv has a lot to gain from this move. She's very excited about the future.
Right.
It's basically just watching these two people talk about the future and reminisce about the past.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and we'll play this for everybody.
I just want to say, for me, you were the best person I could have met at the time we did. I said I hate you!
Yeah, of course you do.
Oh, shut up. You just need to remember that someone else will love you one day, okay? I was never as good for you as you said I was, but someone else will be that for you. I'm sorry we never got to see where this went.
if we ever did break up, the first thing I'd do is try and get back with my ex.
Oh, and it's only now you say this.
You are my ex. It was always supposed to be me and you together, nothing different.
I'm sorry! I've got to do this for myself.
So, how long have you two been together?
3.5 years.
I know. We're not together. We used to be, but we're just mates now.
Oh, is that because you have just met me?
So I do have one question I wanted to ask you. That like first few scenes of the phone, right? And it's John and Naomi. How did that happen? Like, did y'all like warp some images or something? Because it seems like those were pictures meant to look like they were taken a while ago. Who did that?
I did that, and I was really proud of that. Actually, that's one of my. I think that's one of my favorite scenes in the film. You basically watch Liv go through her Instagram. I won't say any more about that, the reason her Instagram and looking at photos, but yeah, just watching, because you watch her scroll and the photos gradually get older. And then I did another photo where they're younger as well, but at the time I did the photo, they'd never met. So I asked them both to send me a batch of photos that they were like comfortable with being in the film. And I edited it just to look like they were younger, which I'm surprised I managed to do, because it sounded like quite a hard task. But I think it looks all right.
No, yeah, that's what I was asking when I saw this. When I saw that scene, I was like, okay, are they like childhood friends? And maybe that was like a prom picture from high school or something like that, And then I was like, well, I gotta ask them, because if it's not, then somebody's got some pretty good skill. Because everybody here watches movies, and there are those movies that have photos, like family photos, usually of the actors, actresses, and they're de-aged or whatever, and you can tell. Like, no, somebody fuck with that. That's not a legit photo. But that, even when you put it on the phone, it looks like it. Like, it surprised me. Like, I was like, okay, these guys already know it. Like I said, that was a prom photo from back in the day. But I had to be sure because it looked really legit. Is that a skill you had to learn just for that scene, or did you kind of already know?
I kind of already knew. So I've been like doing photoshopping, like self-taught, almost as long as I've been doing films. So it kind of came naturally, although I did look up, like I did a lot of research on how you would go about that, because it's different lighting as well. So I did use a few different photos originally. And I couldn't just stick Naomi's head on a photo of someone John was stood next to, because then they wouldn't be the same height, same skin tone and stuff. So I had to physically cut out all of Naomi and get her onto the photo next to John. Thankfully, John had a photo with one of his mates. I think it might have been the composer of the music for the film, coincidentally.
Yeah.
And so I just had to take him out. It was against the blank wall. And so the blank wall was really easy to just take out and just stuck her on. And there's another photo where they're at school together, but obviously John and Naomi didn't go to the same school. So I had to Photoshop their uniforms to be like the same uniform, which was challenging, but that looks decent as well.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I like it because even through podcasting, when I come across, like, probably I'll come across it when I go through to edit this. I'm like, shit, how the hell do I do that? You're forced to learn something new, and it's aggravating, but in the long run, it's going to help you out, So I like that. That's cool, especially being a low budget movie like this. To be able to do it yourself is going to help anybody out, because that way you can kind of keep your crew a little bit smaller, because you can do like 4 or 5 things. You're wearing the hats. Connor's wearing 4 or 5 hats. John's wearing all the hats. I don't know. I mean, the man's tall as shit. Which, by the way, I want to ask, how tall are you then, Matt?
About as tall as John.
That's not an answer, though. Is that 6? Is that 6'2", 6'1"?
Yeah, that's not an answer. Well, I haven't been measured in about 4 years. And 4 years ago, I was 6'2", 6'3", and I'm definitely taller than that now. So I don't know what I am now. Although you've seen John in the videos, I'm
Yeah.
basically the same height.
Fuck both of y'all. I'm just gonna say that because I'm only 6, and I like if I had to pick, I want to be 6'2". So both of you guys go fuck yourselves.
Oh, thank you.
I know you envy with that. That's all.
Right?
So it's,
Yeah, dude.
I know.
Especially like they're younger than me and taller than me. No, I don't. I do not.
Yeah.
No.
You've
So
got a
I'm
better
never
beard,
gonna meet
though.
you guys. Say what?
I do know
got a
that
better
your
beard.
That's right. I do. I do got that.
Yeah. I'll never
I
get-
wish I could grow one like that.
So,
Sorry, John, you're better than me. I've just got a bit of fuzz there.
well, hell, it looks like Matt's almost looking like a baby over there. He ain't got shit. So
In my
everybody's
Christmas jumper as well. Like, yeah, I'm about 5.
So I want to ask each of you a specific question. So I'll start with Naomi on this one. For the movie, if again, I guess if Matt allows it, your favorite scene. What's your favorite scene out of the movie?
Ooh, I do really love the photo one that you've just seen a clip of, but there's so much more to that because it's kind of a mixture of 2 scenes in one. But obviously, can't say any more about that. But there's a scene in the train station which Conor mentioned earlier, and I really like that. That's my favorite, I think.
Conor, what about you?
Well, apart from the scene I'm in, but
Obviously, yes.
yeah, obviously, apart from that, I'd maybe say, I'd say same as Naomi. There's a lot. There's that little photo montage bit, which I think is particularly good. But in terms of the drama and the action, I'd definitely say the scene in the train station because it's that hit me quite hard. So yeah.
John, what about you?
There's a flashback scene that I really love. It might be one of my favorite scenes that we've. In fact, I think it's probably my favorite scene that I've ever been involved with, because it just feels so. I'm trying to kind of talk about it without talking about it, if you know what I mean. It feels so different to everything that we've seen before, and it feels so out of place. And I think it kind of changes your perspective on the entire film. And we will talk about it in more detail when the film's out. But like,
Right.
I'm still that scene still blows me away.
And obviously, we got Matt, the director. What is it for you? Which scene is that?
I'd probably say one of the ones people have mentioned, but I'll go for one that's like, I think Conor brought it up briefly, but the bit that Conor's in the restaurant when Conor appears, like, I think the ones that the others have mentioned are my favorite in terms of like emotion, but I just think how entertaining it is when we are stuck with these 2 characters for the whole film, and then we bring in just the complete antidote to Nick. So Nick is this quite not shallow, not closed-minded, but he feels that way. He's quite kind of like rigid throughout the film. He's like, Nick's not really with Liv to have fun on this day. He's just there to get her to change her mind and stay with it. But then we bring in the waiter to come and take their orders, and it's this flamboyant, cheeky Frenchman who's like making jokes left, right, and center. And just Conor as the waiter just was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because it's not like it's Conor doing a French accent. It's the speech patterns, and it's the way he says it, and it's the body movement and the facial expressions.
It's so exaggerated. Yeah,
it's alien. It's alien to me, and also the themes of that bit as well. I think everyone can relate to it because Nick is sat there in just absolute disarray, just watching the waiter come and flirt with Liv like they've been married 25 years, and Nick can't get a word in. Whereas I think we've all had the cheeky waiter who comes along and like pushes the luck a bit too much, and outstays his welcome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm married, so I've had that before. Oh, buddy. Well,
on
guys,
behalf of cheeky waiters, I apologize.
probably on behalf of Frenchmen too. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, you gotta watch it these days, man. They're canceling people left and right.
I
so.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Connor's been cancelled about 20 times, I think.
Sorry, I'm used to
First
it. Now.
was-
I'm used to it now. Yeah.
I think the first one was for insulting Scottish people at the premiere of the film that we met at.
He did what with my people?
I know. Connor insulted Scottish people, I think, because he plays like this very over the top Scottish character. This is in like an anti-bullying film that we kind of hijacked.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm made into a
Connor's
crime
brilliant in
drama.
it.
Yeah.
I've not seen this one, have I?
We'll have to send it to you. Happy
this
St.
wasn't
Andrew's
released,
Day.
but mainly for good reason.
All right, so John, Matt, if I ever, visit you guys, that one down there, Connor,
Yeah.
he cannot come here. You're gonna disrespect my people. Can't have that. Obviously jokes.
Yeah. I hope so. There will be some disrespect.
But again, thank you guys. I know this has been awkward. Naomi, you're in TV and shit, so this is probably the most not correct interview you've been part of. But I'm new, I don't know shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So hell, when Matt said I could do this, or I think it was John I spoke to, whichever one of them, I was like, oh shit, like fuck, like really? Oh, okay, sure, hell yeah, So thank you guys. This has been great. I've enjoyed it. So I know the trailer officially premieres December 10th, correct?
Correct.
Do you have a time for the actual movie?
We don't yet, and I don't want to make any promises about it either. But you'll get to see it as soon as it's done. It shouldn't be too long away.
Probably next year. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
So I will get this one out on December 10th as well with the rest of everything. If anyone has anything else they want to promote, like everyone who probably watches this, John, he has his podcast, Art Imitates Life. His links will be in the description. Matt, Conor, Naomi, I don't know if you guys have anything like that or anything else. I mean, I'll get with you guys after this, and like if you want your Twitter handles, Instagrams, all that kind of shit. But I know the three guys here have Some Guys with a Camera. That's their little Is it I guess it's a production company, right?
Yeah.
That's their production company. And so, Naomi, if you have anything else that you want people to know to follow you at, floor is yours we'll give it to Naomi first.
Feel like I'm not cool enough.
You're on TV, okay? None of us are.
No, I don't really have anything. I suppose my Twitter's my most professional platform, which is just Naomi_ready. So that's it.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, just at Some Guys with a Camera on Instagram is where most of our content is.
John?
Yeah, just check out the podcast if you can, and Connor's Christmas album if you'd like to donate to the Whitechapel Centre in Liverpool. Then the link is in the description of our music video for our song "I Haven't Had a Haircut Since Christmas." So yeah, just check that out if it sounds like something you'd be interested in.
Conor, anything you want to add?
Once again, check out the album because me and John and Matt put a lot of work into it, and we hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad for you, but my Instagram is Conil_2002. You can find me there. You can find me on Letterboxd at Blu-ray_33. It's where you can find some of my film reviews. I think that's it. Yeah.
And what's your bank number?
What's
your credit
yeah. What is that exactly? Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure you'd like to know that one.
Well, we're not working out judo.
£2 in my bank at the moment, so yeah, wouldn't be too much help anyway. If you want to find me on Facebook, just my name, Conor O'Neill. Should appear.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely gonna have hopefully have you guys on again for future movies and anything else. John, I know me and you, we talk pretty regularly anyways. So everybody check these guys out. Look out for Nick and Liv Together sometime next year. Trailer. Well, if you're watching this, then the trailer's already out and you've already seen it if you're watching this far. So yeah, Nick and Liv Together sometime next year. Naomi, John, Matt, Connor. Thank you, everybody. You guys have
Thank
a
you so
wonderful
much,
day.
Red. Thank you.
Thanks so much. It's been great.
Been a fun night.
Take care.
So, you